Hello, everyone. This is The Waiting Room with Andy Varga. Nice to see you again. This is a show and a series where we are talking with doctors all around Europe and all around the world, how they are affected with the current situation. My today's guest is Dr. Daniel Benson from Edinburgh.
Thank you very much, Andy, for having me.
Hi, Daniel. How are you? You're in Scotland. You're in Edinburgh. Can you tell us what's going on there and how are you feeling?
At the minute, the weather is good, so everybody is happy. Let us say, of course, the situation is challenging. We had to hit the pause on our professions. So we're not allowed to work. We spend most of our time at home. The sanctions are quite strict, so potentially you are only able to leave your house for an hour daily for some exercise and things like that. Generally, I have to say we are blessed because, again, family is well back in Hungary as well, so I'm generally very happy. Of course, this situation globally affects everybody, so we try to get through on it day by day. This is week 5 since the closure, so it's kind of raising alarm bells for me. How it's gonna be going back, how easy it would be to get used to our normal everyday routines, to wake up early, leave early, get to your usual working routine.
So you're working in a private clinic in Edinburgh in Scotland. Are you doing emergency cases or you're completely down?
So it might not fit for everybody, since private dentistry in the UK is completely different from NHS. But as far as I know, the two dental officers who are guiding us in this crisis have kind of put out a quite straightforward guideline on how to act with emergencies. Unfortunately, we are not able to see any of our patients. We are only able to give them advice over the phone. Worst scenario, when it's indicated to get prescribed medication, we are able to phone the pharmacy, instruct the pharmacist to supply the needed medication, and if the case requires actually interactions with dentists, then there are treatment hubs where you can refer your patients. Most of my information so far of these treatment hubs, that they are, hugely underestimated on how many patients they would need to see. Some of our colleagues, first line medical staff, have redeployed to the NHS. Now, since they are not the NHS contracted, that was kind of a personal decision whether we would like to participate in that or not. I decided to stay home and stay safe.
Yeah. Well, and you also have little kids, so probably that's.
I believe this is a good time for trying to focus on the positive. Many times as a working dentist, you have to do late days, late nights. You only come back to the very last moment of the child's stay. So I'm kind of enjoying spending time with the family. Of course, I'm focusing on furthering my dental knowledge as well. As you know, there is an avalanche of webinars available throughout the World Wide Web, and pretty much every day I'm able to log on to 2-3 webinars, so that's kind of keeping me in the momentum, I believe. So that's great.
Yeah. And what is your estimation, or do you have any voices in Scotland when this can be like loosen up a little bit, when clinics can open for some sort of cases? Do you have any information on that?
So pretty much at the minute, I think we still have 2 weeks off for sure. And after that, hopefully we will see a dip on the new cases, and we will be able to reevaluate what is the likelihood of opening again the business doors. What I probably forecast here is that us dentists are going to be able to probably go back on a limited scaled working hours. Probably we will have to look at implementing a couple of additional preventive measures, considering mentioning here air ventilation or air purifiers, or these sorts of things. Probably we have to incrementally get back to our normal lives.
Yeah.
Is it like in Hungary at the minute? Are you able to see emergency patients, and how does it affect you over there?
Yeah, so actually in Hungary, the regulations were quite strict from the very beginning. So basically, in the beginning of March, the government filed some strict regulations, which really nicely lowered the curve, let's say. Yeah, dentistry is down. Private dentistry is down completely. You're allowed to check emergency cases, but this is a slippery slope. Like what is emergency and what not. Of course, there are guidelines for that, but still, I think these guidelines are maybe consumed or understood in a different way in different clinics. So basically the perks are of course now.
Whether or not what sort of PPE we are employing, what sort of PPE we are using for our emergency cases, and since the FFP3 masks are almost non-existent here for private dentists because hospitals are lacking of all these, it's kind of understandable that we don't want to risk a second, spread, second peak.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, and also like researches and analyzations are showing that until we don't have the vaccine and we don't have enough information on this whole virus and situation, it's really dangerous to reopen in a way how we used to work 2-3 months ago. So probably we have to start live with this and get friends with the idea of creating a new type of normal when we're back in business, and maybe it will be a really slow curve until we are back to do all the spectrum of our job. So this I truly believe that we are still in the observation and learning phase of this whole situation.
In some sense, I believe the private dentistry has a slight advantage. Maybe some of the viewers are not going to completely agree with me on this, but the private dentist allows you to schedule your appointment a little bit easier, to kind of follow or add or implement new ways to make sure that your preventive measures and of course infection control measures are properly applied. When we started to see the rise of the cases, there were a few days, maybe a week, where we were still able to work, and then there were recommendations of one person out in the waiting room, hand sanitizers, or even face masks right away for the patient in the waiting room as well. Sort of measures is going to play a major role when we come back. I know that here in Scotland, probably the situation, or here in the UK, the situation is on the National Health Service contractor scale, where high volume patients have been, seen day to day. It wasn't surprising to hear that a dentist had to see maybe 30 patients, for treatment and examination. I think they might be in, more of a restriction on reopening their doors.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at, for example, emergency trauma care or like life-saving surgeries, the OR setup is really different to how we are doing our treatments, right? But they have to work on HIV patients, on patients with serious infectious diseases, and they manage to do that. But of course, with a lot more strict protocols, with really strict infection control and time periods between patients, and of course the personnel is highly qualified to do this. So actually, it is possible, and probably private dentistry will also have to make a shift towards this type of mindset. Otherwise, you won't be safe probably in the next couple of months or even years. And of course, the other thing is that until there are parts in the world where it's a trend to eat exotic animals and keep exotic animals, then we are always globally exposed to a potential of another pandemic.
Yeah.
So we have to be prepared on this.
Yeah, I see that, definitely. In some ways, we have a small referring group to our practice from LHS practices. I think once we get closer to reopening our doors, probably the first thing we are going to do is try to help all these colleagues with some kind of a workload to take over. In some ways, purely because we would like to, help all the patients. The patient is in our center of our attention, and how to do that, we are still trying to, find the right way within our practice. There is communication on that. However, we can't really just purely rely on helping other practices. Unfortunately, we have our own cases going. Still, many patients are in temporary mid-treatment, or there are even cases where I wasn't able to take out the stitches after surgery, as we suddenly had to close our doors. Now, thankfully, we use resorbable, dissolvable stitches in this case, so far kind of under control. But I'm thinking, as a profession, dentists collectively, we have to step up and help each other on this resolution of the backlogged patient care. And I believe we have a good social environment for that. There is good communication between practices as well, so that's great. We are definitely there to help each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think we also have a lot of technologies which, and the forced digitization is going on at the moment in front of our eyes, which will also probably introduce some new ideas or new ways of thinking when we are back to work. What type of digital stuff are you using in your office?
So I'm kind of in a really lucky place in dentistry at the minute. The practice is, very well equipped, and innovation is something always our front of our thinking. So we have of course CBCT for treatment planning. Also, we have intraoral camera to record dental and mucosal features. We're using actually a digital lab for most of our cases. So our in-house lab can provide everything from printed impression trays to full art pretzel, full, zirconia bridges. So in some ways, we already made that step. We print some of our own, guides as well. I wanted to come back to I actually prepared something for you, Andy, because maybe not all the viewers know our connection, and I wanted to go back a little bit on that. Can I
Okay,
maybe
we'll
give you a
share your
little?
screen.
Yeah? All right. You might see that now.
Not yet.
Okay, yes.
Yes, now we see it.
So
Yes,
this is
now
us in 2015, Andy. You organized in Szeged an exclusive implant program for a weekend. You might remember that.
Yeah,
I
it was great.
participated with some of my good friends and colleagues who practicing at the minute in Ireland at Carlo Dental Practice, and it was an exclusive guided implant weekend. I think we had, I don't clearly remember, but on the first day, I believe we had maybe 4 or 5 cases where we had to do and plan our own guide. And the following day, your company have provided us all the guides ready to, ready for surgery, and we inserted each at least maybe 5, 6, 10 implants. I don't remember how many, but what was really good in that course, and I hope you're still doing these type of courses, is that it allowed you hands-on experience, and I think that was really smart.
Yeah, I'm happy you enjoyed it. It was we're still doing these courses. Of course, now we are we had to put it online, but of course the specialty of this course was to have a real clinical experience and a first-hand live surgical experience of the whole workflow and everything regarding guided surgery. Yeah, we're still doing it, and well, we're looking forward to organize our next live event like that. Who knows when it comes, but when it's allowed and when it's safe to do it, then we will do it. That's for sure.
And actually, I found right after this weekend, I went back with the fresh knowledge, and guess what? There was the first case on the same very next morning, and I found the X-rays of the case. May I share this with you?
Yeah, sure. Go on.
So this was from the course, how you actually allowed us to treatment plan our cases. But the very next Monday, I had a patient in with 2 congenitally missing lateral incisors. A really nice young patient where there was still orthodontic treatment going on the lower arch, because already the upper arch seemed to have enough distance between the root of the central and canine. But to my surprise, when I first opened the CT scan, I only really had just a minimal amount of space. And what happened was, I believe I'm an experienced enough surgeon to do freehand surgeries for most of my cases, but this was the momentum when I said, well, I can't risk that. You can see, especially on the right-hand side, that the canine is still kind of tilted slightly medial with its apex. So what happened was I reached out and we done this together. So you can see the treatment plan, the safety zone is highlighted around the implant shape. It's almost reaching into the PDL of the adjacent teeth. And look how nicely the implant went in. I was super happy with the result. And I have to say, it was one of the best experiences in a high pressure environment. I really trusted the guide and our treatment planning, and with no, additional stress, I was able to carry out the surgery nicely. So this was my very first own case with your system, and I have to say this was really a good experience.
Thank you. Can I go? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Thanks for sharing this case with us. Yeah. It's this is exactly why we started to do these clinical courses, because we saw that we had to build back the trust in guided surgery and show some other aspects what we believe that it's important. So we showed that in a live clinical course where we can discuss the cases through from A to Z and really hold each other hands during the first surgery and the first experiences. It elevates the learning curve and speeds up the learning curve big time. So it's really beneficial for the participants, and I'm very happy that you were there. It was 5 years ago, actually. That's crazy. That's where we went to market.
I found the original certificate. Traveled 7 seas. It came down to Australia with me and back.
Yeah, that was the first year for us on the market. Well, the good news is that there are a lot of new stuff going on ever since. So we're gonna.
What is your focus at the minute? Where are you opening? What are the new features?
Currently, we are in 15 countries in Europe, mainly Western Europe and Scandinavian countries. We're working now on the MDR. That's a new special regulation for Europe. Based on that, we're working on the FDA approval for the US market. We already have the okay for the Australian market. And of course, we started to look into the Far East. That's a little bit different and hence has some other considerations, but we're working on it. And new features. We learned a lot in the last 4 or 5 years on the market, and last 2 years in the international market. And now we using this time that now the market is down, we started to completely redesign our system last year already. And now using this lockdown, now the whole company, everybody, not only the IT developers and the product managers, but also the sales team, the service team, everybody now is working on really cool new stuff. So we hope that when our colleagues and users, customers can reopen, we will be there with a really fresh system and services. So that's going to be something really cool. We will do some special series and some special webinars on this in the next couple of months. So you will be able to check it out.
Okay, tell me one thing specific. In the UK, who is your representative? Where would I be able to go after this DICOM system, DICOM app, the smart guide? Who is
in the UK? So in England, it's 360 Visualize. They are distributors, and in Ireland and Northern Ireland, it's Southern Cross Dental. If you saw our webinar last week, I was talking with Dr. David Reaney, who is the manager or the CEO at Southern Cross. So they are distributing DICOM Lab there.
Do you have any users here in Scotland?
Yes, I think so. I have to look into it, but I think yeah.
You mentioned to me earlier that you grew really fast and really big, so you can't really keep tracking every customers of yours as the CEO of such a big company. So, excuse my short-sighted question, but it's just more about trying to find out in some ways where we are in this market here in Scotland. I believe that there are practices employing guided surgery, but particularly this type of guided system have been used here or not. Okay.
I will check it out.
Fantastic.
Okay, Daniel. So,
what's the plan for today?
Sorry?
What's the plan for later today?
We have some other recordings to do, and now I'm full with meetings with the product management group. So we're really full-time working on basically online content and further development. So these are the two things what we are focusing now with the whole company, with all 40 of us. So it's interesting times, very different setup than what we have had 2-3 months ago. Of course, it's a different type of different than in a clinic working with patients. Of course, our life didn't change that much, or we didn't have to shut down. Now everybody's working home office, so it's a completely new setup. But we could continue most of the work what we were doing before. So yeah, but it's interesting times. But let's learn from it.
Very good. So for myself, I have a schedule of following some webinars. So I'm trying to keep in that mindset to keep all the knowledge and not so much the skills, but all the information up to date regarding our cases. There are luckily very good platforms to follow, and I was really happy to get the invitation from you, and I'm glad we managed to sit down and talk a little bit about our situations.
Yeah, thank you very much, David, for accepting Danielle, for accepting my my invitation, and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Stay safe and all the best for you and the family. Okay?
Stay safe for you too.
Bye-bye.
And thank you very much for watching, everybody. Tomorrow we will continue with a new episode with James Squirrel from Australia. So we're going global. James was really nice and cool because he wanted us to keep this everyday noon schedule for this live video. So he will stay up late in order to come live with us from the other side of the world. He is the general manager there for Southern Cross Australia. So he's also managing a big lab. He will have some very interesting stuff to say for us. So stay tuned. See you tomorrow, and thank you very much for watching. Bye.